is Food Not Bombs at Right to Dream 2. We're cooking food to serve at City Hall. And we just got here with about 4 trailers worth of produce. When I say trailers, I mean bike trailers.
A lot of the operation here is like completely makeshift. The kitchen, it's all electric burners and just sort of a hodgepodge of different equipment that's sort of been brought together as an outdoor kitchen slash washing and sanitizing area. So we've had to modify our approach a little bit, which has actually been, I think, a lot of fun. We're so used to cooking in indoor kitchens, but this seems to make a lot more sense considering the kind of work that we're doing and the population that we're serving. So, there's always a new challenge every week. Last week they didn't have any water. Or actually, we had 5 gallons of water that we had to work with and use to wash all of our dishes and cook with, and we did it. I mean, we made it happen. But because the hose was broken, that's their main water source. But so there's always an interesting new challenge here. It seems like every week, but I love it. I love that we're out here in solidarity with the people at Right to Dream and able to help out here with the food that we bring and the energy that we bring here. And we're really appreciative and grateful that they're allowing us to be here and use their space as well.
The next thing that's coming up is this Friday morning at 8 a.m. in front of the Multnomah County Courthouse. There's going to be a rally for Right to Dream 2. They are being fined by the city like over $1,000 a month, and they haven't paid any of those fines. Well, they've accumulated, yes, it is for the lawsuit, they've accumulated over like $20,000 in fines. It could even be higher at this point, I have no idea. And so they've sued the city, and they are going there to have the fines removed. And what's interesting is that, the situation that we have at Colonel Summers Park, where we're threatened with being shut down there, we're using the kitchen here, so like they don't win their lawsuit, and that kind of, threatens us here too, but we know that. That's like all the time for us. I like to analyze things from an anti-capitalist perspective, but like we were talking a minute ago, I think that, looking at things from the perspective of privilege and different types of isms like classism, racism, and elitism, we've had a history of civil rights struggle, and now we've got a history of a gay rights struggle going on. And one of the things that we haven't really thought about yet is, prejudice against people who are poor and people who are houseless. And we could make an equal step towards ending inequality by just simply recognizing that prejudice and start working to get over it, just like we did with the civil rights movement and the gay rights movement. And that is something that I have found in my conversations with people, just my experience as an activist, is a huge amount of prejudice against houseless people and just people who are poor in general. And like the whole Colonel Summers thing that's happening right now, it's happening because people have a prejudice towards people who look poor, is basically it. I mean, we can not even end capitalism and just end that prejudice and go a long ways toward ending inequality. That would be a huge deal right there. That isn't to say that ending capitalism isn't important. It's important as well, but that just shows you how big of a deal that prejudice is, and how big of a deal prejudice is in general. And usually, what people use to describe that entire way of analyzing things is using the word privilege and the structure of privilege. And we need to step outside of our individual roles in that structure and start speaking out when we see injustice, and we need to start using our energy and our time to help people. The guy who gave us this plastic is actually someone who's a friend of Food Not Bombs at Colonel Summers, and he someone who has spent a lot of time talking to the neighbors and the park rangers and everybody in the park, and he knows the situation very well. And he's also somebody who wrote the city, wrote the mayor, all that kind of stuff. So he's kind of part of what's going on with trying to save Colonel Summers as well. Well, that's where we're calling them out on this, is because we already have a park where we have an example where they've done this already. This is an existing policy. It's an existing policy of excluding people from parks. It's a militaristic policy which says if there's a problem at all, the first thing we do is we increase policing. Then once you've gathered your statistics on the policing, you go to the paper and say, look at all the crime that's there, okay? You know if you concentrate all of your police in one area, you're gonna find more crime. But the job of the police is to protect the public. It's not to find every single time that somebody breaks the law and to punish them, okay? This goes back to the prejudice against poor people. Rich people or people who are more well off, middle class, people, everybody breaks the law. It happens. You just speed a little bit, or you drink a little bit. People take coolers and things to the beach all the time. It's normal. But why are we picking on these poor people? Okay, why are we doing that for? So there's that prejudice. But then once you concentrate all of your police in one area, you gather your crime statistics, and then now you can go justify your big construction project, which is going to memorialize your policing policy. And you're going to have a big jail in the middle of the park. Who wants that? It's insane. It's stupid.
Yeah.
In the most powerful nation state with the highest incarceration rate, what would you expect on your plate? Bars, not food.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's Columbia or Willamette, but eventually one of the rivers, the plan is to blend the water with the Bull Run water and to take the Bull Run water and privatize that. Which just seems stupid because the Bull Run water is like one of the purest municipal water sources.
What do you mean stupid? Do you have any idea how much profit we could make off of that?
Exactly.
It seems genius to me.
So I guess not stupid from some
You
perspective.
can also just compost it. Policing, capitalism, prejudice against the poor and the houseless, worldwide problem. We're resisting worldwide.